Molweni, igama lam nguBongani, and this is Alternatives to Small. Thank you so much for coming. If you are new here and you enjoy the content, please don't forget to subscribe. And if you are part of my wholesome, loving community, I appreciate you so much. And so it is the 1st of June. We are halfway through the year. Hi Shem, I don't want to lie. I had a chat with myself just in terms of alternatives to small, and the outcome is boom. Conversation was that, you know what, Bongani, it's time to just give yourself a chance again and to take your platform a whole lot more seriously. But so this is me giving myself a shot in terms of just being consistent and, you know, just giving more of who I am. Today I am going to be talking about money. And money is a conversation that's actually a very important one to have, and it's something that I think a lot of us take for granted. We think that, like, into obvious, that we don't even need to speak about. But if we are man, like the pattern on social media of like people just like outing each other, like being rooted in money, and also within friendships, family, like money is an important conversation that, because of how sensitive and uncomfortable it can be, I think we tend to run away from it. I was like, no more running. No more running. Today, let us just have this chat. So I want to talk about, you know, money etiquette. I want to talk about boundaries when it comes to money. I want to talk about mindset. Those are like the three, I guess, themes that I don't want to forget. So the first thing I want to talk about is etiquette, because it's the most important thing. And it's the one thing that I've noticed that I saw you guys, and as a result, it causes so much chaos. The reality is, circular economy, Cyril, you know, circular economy, like a you know, so it's important, you know, for etiquette right, because even though you don't know like when that day will come, and if you don't have the proper etiquette, do you understand? I think it is very, very important to be respectful, but also to be mindful that nalomdu could be going through, you know, their own thing. Like I don't think ukhona umuntu onemali nje like ehleliyo nje, you understand? Kude kukhona la saying we can't make those assumptions that kukabantu who just have imali eseqaleni, you understand? Say now I'm borrowing money from my little sister, I would say something like, hey Noni, can you borrow me 2 rand and I will return it to you by the end of the month. For me, I think that's straightforward, that's polite, that's respectful, and exactly how much money I would like for her to borrow me, exactly when she can expect her money back, and then should unoni be able to give me that 1 rand or 2 rand that I borrowed, the 30th of the month, it is my responsibility to make sure that as agreed, because as I said before, like la mali had somewhere to go, and you know, she respected me, and out of love for me, so it's only right that ndimnike. And God forbid that something happens, like something agreement, it's your responsibility. So in this example, it's my responsibility to say, Noni, or Noni, I'm sorry, I know the 30 imali yakho izawubuya, but I can't ndiyibuyise ngoku ntontoni, and then ndizayibuyisa ngosuku oluthile, and to apologize and to just not take it for granted that month end, you understand? There must never be a case where it's now the person who has helped you yo guys, like that's just the worst thing, where I've been in those situations a couple of times, and it's just always been very uncomfortable for me. But at the same time, and his mind, because that's how I grew, and I realized that like I should be more boundaried. There's no way apha emhlabeni where unceda umuntu and then funeke kwawena ngoku ube uchutshisa, you understand, ube uraider, you understand, like it's not a comfortable experience, and off. So I think, as I said, kule economy xesha siphila kulo, guys, like kunzima for everyone. So things like that can happen where, and unfortunately, you aren't able to return mhlawumbi imali ngela xesha, but khawuzame man. Like if it means that kukho something wena ozawushota ngayo, or kukho loo nto uzawufuneka uyincamile, just uba umntu wabantu ubuyisa imali yakhe yosana, khawuzame. I think that is just uzenzele indlela entle, basically, because ubomi bude, so uzenzele indlela entle. And also it's just like integrity, you understand. What I've seen is people borrowing money from other people and then having the audacity to babe funny, understand, like ube funny, ube ne cheeky, ube bold, like umuntu abe bold, like guys, I'm sure you've seen screenshots like on Facebook, nondoni, where umuntu ebebolekise ngemali is so depleted, has exhausted every avenue that uzawudam out umuntu bambone nanku ke guys. In fact, kani nikhangelise yena, and if you read the messages, there's a screenshot where most fans like ba there's no remorse from umboleki lona, like there's no remorse, there's no shame. If anything, kukisgezo, ne cheeky, no bukwada, and it's so appalling. Like, stop that. Yo guys, stop that. In fact, that brings me to the next point. Lending money to someone you don't have a good enough relationship with, or someone who's not afraid to lose you. Guys, abantu bantu bafani, guys. Yo abantu bafani in the sense that umuntu aqonda ba, listen, anyway benifuna la 2 rand kuwe, I don't care if you never speak to me, I don't care if you go around uxelela abantu bazandiwe ukuthi kukho abantu abanjalo, guys, abantu abangananhloni. Like bring back inhloni, guys, and to avoid udilishana nabantu abanjalo, I think, hey, just make sure you're dealing with someone who also like okuhloniphileyo, you understand, and okuxabisileyo, ozawuthi xa engakwazanga ukunika imali yakho abe nenhloni, number 1, and kubekho mani laa nto kuye izawuqonda ba, no, listen, I fucked up here, as opposed to umuntu ozawuphola apha entloko. Abantu basile. I've seen too much in life. I've seen too much. Yeah, and then another thing that, you know, I have learned, and I'm so thankful to the friendships that I have. Yo, ichomizam, guys. Yo, the amount of learning that we do together, learning and unlearning, is, you seen that example where in city, okay, I'm borrowing 2 rand from Unoni. Like I would always feel like I need to over explain, or like and I would find myself, I guess, oversharing and maybe also just dumping in between, you understand. And then I've had to learn, and I've had to have meaningful conversations with my friends, because I would also notice they also do the same thing when they are like in a situation where then maybe they over explain, and we got to a place where we're like, listen, I love you and I know that you love me, I trust you and I know that you trust me. You can share ingxaki in as far as you're comfortable with it, or outside of the borrowing of the money aspect. You can just share it like separately, but not, okay, I'm borrowing because don't yabo. And then and yes, man, guys, mnane chom samsafika klo point, but listen, sithembene siyakhuphana ezingxakini xana sikwazi. Like there's no need to over explain, because the trust and the love that we share kind of means that like there would never be an instance where you would take umuntu for a ride, or you would take advantage and stuff. Yo, son, I love my friends so much. Yeah, so that's another thing I've learned, and that's something that that makes me comfortable, like, as well. It's like you sharing a situation with me that you are comfortable with sharing. You're not sharing it because you don't want me to think you taking advantage of me, or don't. I hope that makes sense. I think it does. Yeah. To talk about gengoku etiquette, I guess then for you who is then borrowing the money. I think the most important thing that I can say to you is, number one, you know your pockets. You know your pockets, you know your situation better than anyone else. Like, never put yourself in a position where you are giving more than you actually can give. Do you understand? And I know the reason ndithetha ngale nto is because I've been in that situation where I'm not in a position to help to that extent. You understand? But kuba umntu ndimazi, kuba ingxaki ndiyazi. You understand? By umntu ke I mean a human being, humanity. You understand? I don't enjoy seeing umntu ekwimeko. You understand? So sometimes, you know, you give more than you can give. Guys, therapy. Sana, I credit a lot of my growth to therapy, because I was then able to identify where my over giving and giving even when you don't have, where that stems from. So for me, growing up, I would spend a lot of holidays, technically all of my school holidays, ekomani kwa Mamfene. Mamfene is my grandmother, and the culture and the community there was really the definition of like ubuntu, ukuphilisana man, ukuncedana, and all of that. And I would see from a very young age, like, as the dynamics, and I've only been able to unpack and learn now, like kule age ndikuyo now, ba hey man. Hey, my grandmother, when we would go get holidays, I would sometimes see her giving anikezele nangeyokugqibela, guys, anikezele nangeyokugqibela yena asheke engenanto, you know, to help omnye umntu. And I think that's how, like, bonke abantu in the community operated. For example, something simple, ke bethu nanthetha nangezigixi mna imali ezinkulu, no, something simple like sugar. Afika umuntu kwamakhulu wami, mhlawumbe uphethe isikhafutina uzocela iswekile. You understand? There would be times, obviously, there's a lot of sugar, galelwe isikhafutina, that's fine. But there would be times where mhlawumbe besithenge unopoki weswekile engaka. You understand? And umuntu afike no-Tupperware. You understand? And my gran would pour agcwala uTupperware. Guys, abazali bethu nomakhulu bethu, guys, la generation, loving generation, but I would say loving and giving to a fault almost. You understand? And I learned ngesipho sami, man, nam ndazifunda eza traits, like zaba ingrained apha kum. Even if it's the last that I have of anything, a resource, time, money, I will give to the next person. Yeah, don't give more than you are able to give. And it doesn't mean that you are a bad person. It doesn't mean that, you know, kana ungazi, you know, ungazi-striphi completely, ungazithini, that it's not a bad reflection of you. If anything, it actually means you're boundaried, and now we as Cingela, you know, when you can give, always do. But xana ungenayo into, kude kukho ingoma kaRingo endiyithandayo, like, I think ngusula igama layo, yeah, ethi like khakuyeke ukunika ngento ongenayo because uzogowa. You understand? Yeah. And then I just want to share my views on, like, sharing when someone has, you know, done you dirty. I think by all means, sharisha ezo screenshot, mbambe mse small claims, share your truth. There's no need for you to be embarrassed or ashamed or feel guilty or don't, because umntu kangakuhloniphe nawe, kangakucingele, kangabe naxesha lakho. So if anything, you are doing like a social justice, you understand? So don't ever feel bad. And even if the person does pay you back after you don't even need to remove it. Post like you guys, I've gotten to a stage in my life and in my growth that because why? Because the minute small claims, mchuchise, if wena ukwazi uchuchisa umuntu like awunayo la personality ba uzawube umxelele indaba zakho umuntu usithini andiyazi man, mfunela abantu who can. Okay, so then I also want to talk a little bit about boundaries when it comes to money, and I want to share, I guess, what I've learned and some of the mistakes that I have made. So being boundaried basically means like just knowing your limit, just knowing what you are okay with and what you're not okay with, what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate, but also just sticking to it. You understand? Ungathi kwi-situation ethile like ubhende okanye kumuntu othile ubhende, like i-boundaries zakho funeke zibe clear, funeke zibe straight, and you understand finances should always be your business. Do you understand? Xa finances zakho zingezo zakho, it's very easy for number one, umuntu acimba uyakwazi. Number two, to be taken advantage of. Number three, number one, umuntu acimba uyakwazi. You understand? Which so it's not even a matter of, you know, umuntu or private okanye umuntu or mysterious. Umzekelo mna, you guys know I'm very open. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I share my life. I share my private. In fact, I recovering over share. You understand? But when it comes to my finances, oh no, baby. That is my business, and that protects me a lot. Antando kwaziwa, like sundazi in that extent. You understand? Because basile manabantu and abantu ba. Mama, if you are watching this, I know you would be very happy for me to share this, because now you like woman empowerment, okay? So how I learned like that, my finances are mine until the day that I die. My finances are mine. Was actually through I don't have the English word for it or the closer word, in fact, but through this with my mom, right? So my mom, whom like everybody knows, that is my girl, that is my number one, ndiyamthanda, khondwa ngayaziyo ngam that an outsider can ever claim to know. That's how, yeah, that's my homie. So my mom is my best friend, my everything. When I started working, I was very, very open with my mom. And I actually don't regret it, because I'm glad that I learned from my mom and not from a stranger. So open, you understand? I would tell her, when I would do, you know, your piece jobs, I would tell her, okay, from a younger age, from high school when I would work and get holidays with cosmetic shops, or university when I was a tutor and I would do holiday jobs, or when I graduated and I had, you know, part-time jobs, internships and stuff. I always told her, this is the amount that I'm making and stuff. And it was not just I always want my mom to understand my life and to the kind of work that I'm doing, how I'm being compensated for it, njalo, you understand? So anyway, again, like fine, contract. Oh, I think contract post when I started my career in education, and I was on a contract post, and I let her know, okay, this is the nature of my job now, and don't, and this is how much I'm earning, and I'm not permanent, and don't. Then I would also share with her just basically my expenses, you understand? Because, you know, yeah, so I would share with her my expenses and all of that. And she was okay. My mom, one thing about her, she is not one of those moms, but ukhuliswe ndim akekho entitled bakhona bosabazali bafilisha like ngokukhulisa like uyam owa, you understand? But my mom is not like that. So I would befriend ngixelele kwanto wethu until I realized that, hey, in me sharing that, okay, I earn 5 rand, ne? Kule 5 rand, 2 rand goes towards my living expenses. Kusheke 3 rand. Kule 3 rand, I invest 1 rand. Kusheke 2 rand. Kule 2 rand, I save 50 cents. Jalonja like how. So my city, on a given month, the shekelwe hlambi 1 rand 20 after my city going out and whatnot. Shekelwe 1 rand 20 when my city 1 rand. She would know that Paula Penhloko, but she knows my city 70 cents. She would ask it freely, knowing that dinayo 1 rand at the end of the day, and I was okay with that for like a very, very long time. It didn't bother me until I started, growing now in my own financial literacy, and I started knowing that I can't have a 1 rand that's just there. You understand? I need to figure out how do I grow that 1 rand, or la randi, how can it make my life either now or in the future better. So if I have like a 1 rand that's just there, of course I'm going to use it on this doing. So then my way of living then started changing. Okay, la rand, in as much as I'm already saving, yes, I'm investing, yes, but la 1 rand cannot just and funba ne rand man 20 cents mangabi ne rand. So then, like, I think that's when I wouldn't say she wouldn't understand, but now I would feel bad. You understand? So sometimes kupa la rand and kupa ku 2 rand that is not meant for you, understand, and it would be like wouldn't buy this in terms of like the plans that I have. And so the minute ndaba permanent, I made a decision, and I even spoke to my mom, and she was actually more than comfortable with that. I made a decision that, you know what, I'm not going to share how much I'm now earning, because it obviously changed from not being taxed to being taxed. I'm not going to share my new living expenses. I'm not going to share ipokotozam, you understand? I'm going to commit to giving a certain amount, and if I have to go above that, it must funeka ibe ndiyakwazi okanye ndiyafuna, not uba ndiyazipitsa, you understand? And so then I carried that through like all my relationships. Some of the books that I've read, which by the way I should actually do book reviews guys, because they've helped me, like financial books that I've read, or black text, or how to handle black text like a pro, or the psychology of money. I've learned that xana mani ipokotho yakho isaziwa like ngomnye umntu, yo sana, like kubanzinyana. So if umcha, or if you're watching this umcha, or you're starting a new job or whatever, please don't, your pocket must be your business. It protects you a lot. Now from abantu, guys, I can't overstate this in this video, because I've had to learn the hard way. Abantu bafani, guys. Abantu bayathanda ukuthi gabo. Umzekelo mna, in my life, there were instances where insignificant others, you understand? Yeah, insignificant other, like on the outside of your life, would have the most to say about like how I'm living my life. The most to say, and they would like, I would hear so much judgment and opinion and unsolicited advice, and it always used to shock me. But why? And it used to make me angry, actually. Like, we are on the point of how people can give you unsolicited advice. People can be judgmental of how you use your money or how you live your life on don. I want to say to you that cut it out. Like bangata ubeva, you understand? Bangata ubeva, like don't let it affect you at all. Now I went through a phase where it used to first affect me, then I realized why. Why am I being affected by the opinions and the judgments and the unsolicited advice of people who actually don't even know me, who actually have no business like in my life? I'm not saying be reckless. I'm not saying don't listen to good sound advice, but I'm saying live your life. You literally have this one life, and you can't uzipitse kuba ufuna uplease abantu, kuba ufuna ukhangeleka ingathi ndiyazi nguRobert Kiyosaki welozo, because asizude sibe ngabo Robert Kiyosaki. I think it's very upsetting and annoying to me when I listen to some of the opinions that abantu express about how other people spend their money, and it's never how affluent, wealthy, njalo people spend their money. Abantu who ngathi simthu bafumana sona scrutiny mntakabawu ngabantu abazamelayo kanye abantu abasuka kwamakhaya atsala nzima or njalo. It's like they can't live their lives, they can't enjoy fine things, they can't enjoy convenience. Abantu man banayo lando yocimba bona banengqondo ngemeko yakho more than wena. Suba hoya ukhulula lonto, suba hoya. if ufuna ukwenza into uthanda into suzipitsa, my angel, suzipitsa, guys, I'm being serious, suzipitsa. And you sana ndizama ucinga mani into endizithandayo mna that I guess ziyathethisa. I like convenience, for example. Yeah, that's an easy example. I love convenience. I'm not going to go stand in a line, go bump into people, when I can sit on my couch, order my groceries online, zifike apha phandle. I'm going to pay that service fee for convenience yoba igrocery yam ifika apha emnyango. Fine, if ndiyafuna ngaloo nyanga okanye ngelo xesha whatever, then fine, ukuthanda mna. But you're not going to judge me because I choose to use a delivery app for my groceries. Mind you, ukuya etown nobuya etown, I'm still paying money and I'm standing in a queue, and mhlawumbi kukho ne-rude cashier ntontoni, ndi-avoida yonke loo nto ngohlala apha ndithi checker 16 phola apha entloko, yabo. So that's one example that I can think of izinto mna that I'm willing to spend money. Omnye umntu angaqonda uba like you are frivolous, you understand. What else now? My wines. My wines and my flowers. I love flowers. I love wine. I-wine rack yam ndikhathazeka ukufa xa empty. You ide inqhubekisa to such a point, even ndinebhotile eyi-1 ye-wine kwi-wine rack ndiyayisusa from my side because andiyithandi. I like to see my wines pha, you understand. So of course xa ndipeyile ndizawuthenga ii-wines am ndizibeke pha. Of course ndizawuthenga amabhlomu wam ndiwabeke pha because andivisa kamnandi. It could be frivolous, it could be useless to someone else, but mna ndiyazi-enjoya. So bungumntu mhlawumbi othanda into ze-designer, umzekelo mna bongani andixabisanga i-designer. In fact, I think I'm the one person who anazo zanto uqonda ndibawela igutsha intontoni, ndibawela intontoni, abona amagama eshem andiboniswa nto. But soze undive ndijaja umntu oqonda uba ukhuphe i-30,000 for isipaji sikagucci. Hayibo sana sisipaji asifunayo and simvisa kamnandi. I am for that, do you understand? Even though mna ndinganosithenga isipaji se-30,000, that does not mean that umntu othenge isipaji se-30,000 like ndimbona ngongathi umuncu akayazi imali yakhe uba makayispende njani. Hayibo bethuna uyiseyivele la 30,000. Hayibo imali yakhe. Yo loo nto ufuna uyenza ivisa wena kamnandi, please. Bangathi uyaqinisa pha kuyo because life is short. Yes, I still get a little bit sad when I think about the mindset that I was operating from, like we 20s, as I'm like my early and my mid 20s. But with therapy, of course, and just ukola in general, I know that essentially I know the route and I've worked through it. But ndandi operator from a scarcity mindset. I had learned to just go without and not even ask for. I carried just a lot of lando money. I was scared to spend money. I was scared to treat myself. I was scared to live. I was scared, like even now, like zisekhona traces, and I see it in how like andifuni tyala, like andifuni utyala mntu, andifuni utyala venkile, andifuni account, andifuni anything, you know, because it scares me. But then you learn that not all debt is bad debt, and you actually need a credit score. You need a record that way, not like you are someone who is dependable or reliable, okanye ngumntu awuyo risk. Meaning you have to have some sort of account or whatever that you pay off monthly. I had to learn that. In imali yam I felt like yonke mna enhle nje ndiyayisaver, enhle nje ndiphila like ubomi I don't know. My friends would plan trips, and I'm not talking about like trips like kuthiwa hayi siyahamba siya ndiyaze PP eDurban ntonto, no, like nje like trips intoni like ezifikelelekayo, and I would feel like andizi because I don't know, yabo. So ndandimisisha out on life experiences and stuff. Even though in Pinterest I always had izinto like style sam esithetha nam, but I would never buy clothes for myself because I always felt like yabo. So I had to unlearn that, and I had to learn that like my world is not going to crumble if I go shopping. If anything, well, yeah, improved, because if you look good, you feel good, and you know your first impressions, and one is as into like uba, like even the confidence, yeah. So in a way, it's like an investment in yourself. It's not like this frivolous thing, you understand. And I had to learn that taking trips with my friends and taking trips with my partner, even solo trips, that's like a good thing. I'm creating memories, I'm living, I'm seeing things, I'm experiencing new things for the first time. And now I'm at a place where I'm no longer with scarcity mindset. Like I'm good, but like I'm working towards like an abundance mindset. Like you won't hear me saying things like a 9%. You won't hear me saying those kind of things, because now I'm at a point where I really believe that the energy that I put out and the thoughts, the beliefs, like they actually materialize. You understand? Like they call it along the 100% wholeheartedly. So I don't speak as in that. And phone is manifest mini bam. So anayonescent, you doesn't supeka, you kwaze kwathini, you won't hear me now with that kind of energy or that kind of tone. Guys, like I believe it, you know what to say, like I have my future ahead of me, and I'm going to be a boss babe. Like I'm going to have abakulolo, you know, and dinalando ndiyazixelela man like into ezithile ndi-worthy of zona, you understand. I-comfort ndi-worthy of yona, i-softness ndi-worthy of yona. So kancinci kancinci ezazinto xa ndikwazi uzenzela ndiva kamnandi, and banalando ithi ndi-stepper into, you understand, where I'm already going, where God has already said yes, that is where you're going, you understand. So little things like the little things, because I've learned that it's an impact even on my mental health. Always make sure that like our living space is one that is it's clean, it's well taken care of. It smells good, there's flowers, there's, you know, I have like wine, you know, we eat healthy, but there's also snacks. Like not even with my classroom, I make sure that even though ayo yam, you understand, like ayo yam make a horment, but it must be clean at all times. I instill that even as abantwana and mom, let's take care of our space, let's make being here, you know, an experience. Let's make being here uvekamandi. We understand ungathi ngongena apha uqonda ba yo ubalando ingathi ndizawuthi ungenaphi nasana mawuthi xa ungena uqonda ba like, even though you're like even though I know when I'm going to work, there are certain challenges every single day, guys, and every single day there's challenges, dynamics, there's also a little bit of toxicity in way too, into, you understand. But I always look forward to going to work, because I know I've created a space for myself that like so like looking good helps the worker towards the mindset. And I think I'm nearly there, if I'm being honest, because I feel worthier than I've ever felt in my life. I feel more deserving just as a child of God than I've ever felt in my life. I know that anything that I dream it because God planted that seed, and it can happen for me. Yeah, bon. It's too big for me. Even with alternatives to small, as of today, the 1st of June, like the mindset yam ndifuna uyishifta kakhulu alternatives to small, and ndifuna to make the overall experience one that speaks to who I will one day be as a creator. Do you understand? Like, thank you so much for watching, and I genuinely feel the love from the community as well. Until the next video, Kesana.